your generosity and time.
The gentlewoman yields back. The gentlewoman from Oklahoma, who is the chair of the Subcommittee on Modernization, who's been ingratiated in this issue, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Director Halpern. It's great to see you again.
Always.
Glad to have you with us. I want to also thank you for your work with the Modernization Subcommittee and the Clerk's Office to pilot the waiving proofreading option for bill introductions. I was able to have a little sidebar with my colleague from Virginia to explain sort of the reasons for the waiving of proofreading, and I think it's been, I would say, successful in trying to help reduce the number of bills that you're having to proofread, but also getting things through the pipeline a bit quicker. So thank you for your work on that issue. Last year, I also introduced legislation to remove the printing requirement for the Constitution annotated, Conan, and replace it with a digital-only version. And according to the CBO, replacing the print version of Conan with the digital version, which is already publicly available and out there, would reduce the Library of Congress's operating costs by $4 million over the next several years. The library has actually hosted Conan on their website since 2019. It's easily searchable, accessible, and provides links to the Supreme Court decisions. And it's being updated real time by CRS, which is incredibly important. Despite this, we are still spending a tremendous amount of money on producing hard copies of it because it is required by statute. And you addressed previously, there are many of these areas that have been codified in statute that you're required to print, and I would love the opportunity to work with you to find some ways to reduce that burden. My assumption would, and this is the first question, be that many of the printed documents or books that you are currently producing are available online. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Almost everything is available online, either through GovInfo or some other fashion, but yes.
Great. I think there's an opportunity for us to be able to scale that back, still providing transparency for the American people if they want to read these documents, but saving taxpayer money because they are available digitally. And when the original statutes were written, that wasn't an option. So
Absolutely. And if I can just sort of fill in there just a hair, one of the changes, and I can't take credit for this was happening as I arrived at GPO, but one of the changes we made was shifting from traditional offset printing to digital inkjet technology for a lot of our more routine documents. Offset printing requires large quantities to be economical. That first copy that comes off of the press costs you thousands of dollars, and everything else is just pennies. Whereas digital inkjet, it is a per copy cost. You are paying for ink and materials and that machine. So as a result, a digital inkjet press doesn't care whether we're printing 10 copies of something or 10,000 copies of something. That allows our process to be a lot more economical, a lot more automated, and really help drive down those costs. And we're always looking for technologies that will enable us to do things like that.
what would you say is the percentage of documents that are now being printed using digital rather than offset?
It is, I can get you that exact number. It is most of our daily publications, so the Congressional Record, Federal Register, CFRs. We are getting ready to retire one of our big offset presses that we purchased about 10 years ago because we can supplement all of the work that we were doing. That machine gets used for hearings, big reports, that kind of thing. We can do all of that through digital inkjet, and the cost is a lot lower.
I like saving taxpayer money, so it's great to hear that. Let me pivot, if I may, to your website talks about 10 different use cases for AI that are being utilized, piloted, or currently under review. And as the Subcommittee on Modernization, that's something that we are looking at. How do we properly and responsibly bring AI into the legislative discussion here and be able to utilize it. Our offices are actually adopting Microsoft Copilot to be able to allow for speedy access to information through email or calendar review and utilizing AI. Talk a little bit about what you are doing on the AI front.
It's probably not a lot different than what the House is doing sort of on the administrative side. So for instance, we are using Copilot to help draft contract terms for our acquisitions professionals. Again, you need a human being on the other side of that to make sure you're doing it right. I got a lot of lawyers who need to make
Don't
sure
want
that
to lose their
we're-
job.
Exactly, but they also need to make sure we're getting this right, because the cost on the other side, if we don't get it right, can be big. Things like that, using it for internal administrative stuff. I will fully tell you when it comes time for annual reviews and I get pages and pages and pages of stuff. I'm like, hey, Copilot, can you put this into a couple of paragraphs for me to stick in the form so that we capture this? Perfect. And it does a pretty good job of that. We are also looking to use AI tools to help with our cataloging activities with the Federal Depository Library Program. We still need good, experienced librarians and catalogers to get that work done. But if we can, just like I was talking about with bills, if we can get the machine to do the more rudimentary, the sort of
Tedious.
initial tasks, and then free up our people to do the work that they need to do, that's really the best use of this technology.
Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon, Dr. Halpern. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.